Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Piano Cafe Virtual Connect, our episode number 15. Today, we discuss about ecotourism in Philippines. Today, our guest speaker, Erwin Tsunami, Venezuela, professional tourist guide and area representative of World Federation of Tourist Guide Association. He is very passionate and professional tourist guide. Let's start discussing with Mr. Erwin. Hello, Mr. Erwin. Welcome to our virtual studio. How are you, sir, today?
Mabuhay.
Mr. Erwin.
And a pleasant good day to everyone. My name is Erwin Tsunami Valenzuela, and I am a licensed eco guide or nature guide from the Philippines. I am also the national president of the Philippine Ecotourism Guides Association, wherein we are a group of eco guides or nature guides, and we are the eco warriors, helping to sustain, to build professionalism, to promote sustainability, and also to protect Mother Nature.
Okay, thank you, sir. I want to say something. Through you, I invite travel thirsty people from the Philippines to visit Bangladesh. We have archaeological monuments and traditions to visit in Bangladesh. There are beautiful rivers. Is the Bay of Bengal. In the heart of Bay of Bengal, there is the blue whale and famous Saint Martin, named or called as a coconut island. This is not the end of our tradition. There is much more. Cloth tradition, Jamdani is admired all over the world. Besides, there is no doubt that the mangrove Sundarbans, which has been included in the UNESCO heritage site, we will give you truly extraordinary travel experience. Besides the hospitality of hospitable Bangladeshis will fascinate you. Now we will listen to your ecotourism Philippines and your experience, sir. Let's discuss why you choose a tourist guide as a profession.
I became an accidental tourist guide by profession because when I was still in college, on the last year of my study in 1995, I accidentally came into the church inside our university, and I was to do confession. Then suddenly the door closed, shutting me inside. And the priest inside told me, "Can you escort our guests in the university?" I said, "Yes, why not? And who is this guest be?" And then he said, "You will know who our tourist will be in a while. But for now, kindly take our guest for 2 hours in the university, unrecognizable, because our guests don't want to be recognized." When the guest came, I was shocked because my first guest was Pope John Paul II.
Wow, great.
And On January 11 to 13, 1995, the World Youth Day in Manila happened in Manila, and the Pope stayed in our university. And for 2 hours, extended to 4 hours, extended to 6 hours, I became his guide just inside the university, and we were just talking and telling him about stories. And later on, he gave me a memento, which I still hold every now. And since then, I said, oh wow, I think my break will be tourist guiding. But I was licensed 2006. But as early as 2000, I was already guiding. My first guiding experience as a professional guide is to become a mountain guide. By
Oh,
2000, I became a mountain guide. By 2003, I became a river guide. By 2006, I became a regional tour guide in which the entire region of which is the central plain of Luzon, which has 7 provinces, became my area. After 1 year, I trained again. I became a community guide. After 1 year, I tried eco guiding. I also passed it. And then by 2012, that's why I had the word tsunami. It is a call sign. It's a call sign from me when I'm in mountain guiding. I studied river kayaking and sea kayaking. So by profession, I am also a sea kayak instructor. And so on and so forth. The rest is history. I am also a firefly guide, and I believe you have the world's largest mangrove forest as listed in the
yes.
Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah.
Like you, I am also a mangrove man. I am
Oh my
also
God.
promoting mangrove planting every 3 months. I promote sustainable ecotourism by environmental conservation of tourism to students. That's why I also founded the Yes Club so that the youth can come in. The Yes Club stands for Youth for Ecotourism Society, where membership is free. And all you have to do is to plant a tree, a mangrove, or adopt a wildlife. I became a firefly guide. I became a whale shark guide. And I became a volcano guide. The department and the government uh, ran out of trainings for me. So I started training. I trained in Krabi. I trained in Bali. I trained in Darwin. I trained in Hong Kong. I trained in Japan. So every now and then, the Asia Pacific Ecotourism Conference invites me to be their speaker to share ecotourism in the Philippines and to the world. Because as you know, what is the meaning of ecotourism? In books, ecotourism is defined as it is the responsible travel to natural habitats, and uh, it empowers the welfare of local people. So I also embrace the indigenous people, the cultural minorities. Sometimes I train for free. And what do I get when I go home? I get fruits and vegetables for dinner. And that's enough for me. Sometimes I go far-flung places where people would like to guide, but they don't have any money to pay for a training. So I just told them, you just accommodate me and I'll see what I can do for you. And ever since I became their advisor, I became their godfather. And to any hardships, to any good life they are experiencing, they are dedicating it all to me. every now and then, I also visit their places. We try to rebrand or repackage their product so it can be promoted to other countries and to international tourists. You know, Taal Volcano in Calabarzon region is one of the 32, 32 most famous ecotourism sites in the Philippines. It's just one of the 32. And it is the second most active volcano in Asia. Second most active volcano in our country. The first is Mayon. It is a volcano it's a strato volcano found in southern Philippines, and it is known as to be the volcano with the most perfect cone. Ecotourism in Taal is great because you are getting community people to guide. They learn to cook, they learn to teach horseback riding, they paddle the boat, they ride on bancas, and then they guide tourists there. But since they are community guides, they are also being aided by professional regional guides. They practice self-respect, and what's important is that they are earning livelihood for their children and their families. Maybe if I talk a lot about my experience in eco guiding, 40 minutes is not enough. But for now, that's it.
Now, to need for a guide, tourist guide, you think need educational qualification to choosing guide profession?
Here in the Philippines, tourist
Yes.
guiding is regulated by the Department of Tourism. And we have standards to maintain and uphold. We also have qualifications and requirements for you to become a tourist guide. And the first requirement to becoming a tourist guide is that you should be at least 18 years of age. That's one. Second, um, you must have a passion. I mean, you must like, you must want to be a tour guide, to be one. Not because you are being forced to be a guide or someone tells you, go there, be a guide. Go there, it's good livelihood. But simply because you want, you would want to become a tour guide. Third, you must be proficient at English. Another language is a plus factor. Then you should have a pleasing personality. You must not have any criminal record from the police, from your municipality to the national level. On some cases, you must have or you must pass the neurological and psychological exam, and you must also pass the medical exam. So and then you must be actually 18 years old is the minimum requirement. What if you are already 80 years old but you still want to be a tour guide? That can happen because as long as you are physically fit, mentally stable, you can always be a guide even though you are 100 years old. That's it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir, for your kind sharing. What does community tourist guide meanings?
Okay. Community tourist guides are guides who guides in their own community. community only. Example, uh, your what's that? Sandorban mangrove area. If there is a people organization on that community, they can be treated as guides. When they become guide, they will guide in that specific region only, in that specific area only. They cannot guide in the city. They cannot guide elsewhere. They are community guides and can guide only on that specific region. It is guiding with specification. So if you are a cave guide in a national park, you can only guide there. If you are a snorkel guide in the beach, you are a community guide in that area because it's very difficult for a snorkel guide to guide in the city because there's no water or underwater there. There's no beach. If you are a mountain guide and you have a mountain, you can either be a mountain guide or you can either be a community guide. So since you are guiding only on that mountain, you are a community guide. So it is guiding in an area with boundaries.
Okay, what does a tourist guide? Does the tourist guide have social equivalents in your country? Do you have to face various problems as a profession?
Yes, we also have problems like during this COVID-19 era, whereas tourist guides cannot work because there is no tour. No tour guides. You know, there is a tour operator or travel agent and there is a tour guide. These two people are important elements in the society in the Philippines because they are the Batman and Robin. They should always be together in tandem. They should always be a teamwork between them. The tour operator operates the tour and he assigned the guide to be their tourist guide. So by that, we already have our social status. Second, we have a federation. The Federation of Tourist Guides in the Philippines is called the Philippine Federation of Professional Tourist Guide Associations. Under the Philippine Federation, we have 16 associations per region in the country. We have 17 regions. But on one region, there are two members. It's all right. Uh, Annually, we renew to our federation. I am represented by the Guides Alliance of Bulacan at your service. We are a member of the Philippine Federation. We are recognized by our government. And since all the other associations are under or in member with the Philippine Federation, they automatically becomes a member of the World Federation. Why? Because the Philippine Federation as a whole is a full member to the World Federation. So we are the umbrella arm. We paid dues to our federation, and in turn, our federation uh, convince everyone through national conventions, promotes training, help tour guides by training more. Like today, almost every other day we have webinars for the as aid for tour guides professional, personal, and physical growth. That's the new normal nowadays. The Philippine Federation Expo uh, is in charge of they contact they are in touch with our government, and they are consultants too into how tour guides must be taken care of, be promoted, or to offer trainings. By then, the president contacts the association presidents, in which he re-echoes what's in store for us. I used to be a vice president for that federation for 6 years. My term ended 2018. Today, one of my colleagues is the president, and his name is Jose Alberto Gadia Jr. And hopefully, in the next few days, I hope you will invite him too. That's it. Thank you. Razu, thank you.
I want to share. No, you long time you are involved as a tourist guide profession. Then you tell me how many years? It's more than 20 years.
Well, if you will count 1995, it will be
Yes.
25 years.
Wow,
It will.
great man. It's almost 25 years, long time. You have long experience. Okay, then another question. What are the first things you need to know become a tourist guide?
What are
First things. When what are the first thing you need to know to become a tourist guide?
ah fastings?
Yeah,
Fastings. Oh, do you mean what are what talents you should have to become a
yeah,
tour guide?
yeah, yeah.
Well, for me, I think, and I share to you, as long as you have the passion to becoming a tour guide, you can be a tour guide. Because uh, if you are a mountain guide, I mean, anyone can be a guide as long as you have the passion and legally you are qualified. Because there are so many guides who are entry level guides. They know nothing. They know nothing about anything. But then after the training, they became something. Because being a tour guide needs time. When there are trainings offered, you grab it. Sometimes they give you free trainings. Sometimes you have monetary trainings. But if you see the opportunity that comes in, you grab it. As I always say, when you see the head of opportunity, you always grab it by the neck. Because sometimes it will never come again.
Yes,
So I grabbed all the opportunity. There are some guides there that who have nothing on tour guiding, because there is always training. You will learn in trainings. So it's important that you have the correct training and the right training. In due time, they will learn. There are some guides that became guides, and after that, they don't want to train anymore because they believe we are the best of the best of the best. But that's not it. Because for me, I'm already 25 years in the profession, but still I study. Still I search for learning. Still, I always look for anything because the world is changing. Every day is a learning process. Life is full of learning. Just like Mahatma Gandhi said, uh, live as if it was the last day of your life, and learn as if you are to live forever. And I practice that principle, and I always study and learn. Actually, as of now, I am on the middle. I am midway on my training. I grabbed this opportunity to learn French. So I'm studying French now.
Okay, that's
And
good.
okay, thank you.
Okay, how does the government of your country encourage tourist guides to promote tourism?
Well, there are so many uh, what do you call that? Uh, it's very good to become a professional and professional tour guide. In the Philippines, you call it accredited guide. Accredited. When you are accredited, you are licensed by the government, because there are some tourist guides who are not licensed. And licensed guides here in the Philippines have perks. Have perks like uh, we always get tours from travel agencies. Travel agencies gets us to guide other tourists. Sometimes we have free entries to theme parks. And then when an institution or a government is accredited by the Department of Tourism, we are granted free entries, just like museums and then some national parks. All we have to do is to campaign, because we as tourist guides, we are the frontliners, we are the ambassadors of our country. So we help in the promotion, we help in the campaigning. That's why we always say in the Philippines, welcome to our country, the land of endless fun. It's more fun in the Philippines.
Thank you, sir. We would like to hear your experience as a tourist guide. We already heard this. Have you had any bad experience?
Bad? Yeah, a lot. You must you must fall. You must fall for you to recover. Life is an everyday learning. You cannot be better if you do not commit mistakes or if you don't fall. It's a learning process. You know, I told you before, and I told other people too. You know, as a tourist guide, I almost died 18 times. Yes, I almost died 18 times.
Oh my God.
Because sometimes in my journey as a guide, a natural calamity happened, and I didn't foresee. I didn't. No, nobody have foreseen that event because it was a natural phenomenon. Uh, I was the head guide, and I was guiding a lot of people. It was a very freak accident. You know, in that accident, I died. I was placed in a body bag. And after 3 hours, I woke up again. Because when I went to heaven, Saint Peter told me, "Hey, go back. You're not yet allowed here. You have Saint." And then when I came back, I ran through hell. And then I saw the devil. When I saw the devil, go back. There is no vacancy. So I went back in the Philippines. I went back and and then
No.
what's very important in that experience is that uh, saving 52 people at once in a
Oh,
raging river is very difficult. But I managed to save 37. I cannot
oh,
save them all, but I did my best. In every job I do as a tour guide, I always do my best. There was also a time when I saw someone drowning 100 feet to the ocean and I sacrificed my life to saving that guy. And I did. I saved him. I took him at the ocean floor, but he's already dead. So I did CPR in the middle of the ocean. And then he survived. Because of that, I was awarded. I was awarded Tourism Star of the Philippines.
oh, great.
And since then, many youth students, they always look for Tsunami. Only 10% of the people I know knew me as Erwin Valenzuela. But if you say, hey, I want a guide, and then the travel agent will say, okay, Erwin Valenzuela will guide for you. Who is he? I don't know him. Oh, he's called Tsunami. Oh, Tsunami, yes, Tsunami, we want Tsunami. So I'm better known as Tsunami. I've already
Oh,
patented my name. Everyone knows me as Tsunami, and sometimes I receive certificates without my name, but it just says there, Tsunami.
oh. Can you share with us that experience? You saved 37 people life. What happened on that time and how you saved the life 37 people?
Well, in the first place, uh, I tried to study the situation. I didn't jump in first. I did not panic. I tried to analyze what will I do. Tour guides are trained for first aid, basic life support, and water safety. Me as a sea kayak guide, I also have other trainings like sea navigation, sea rescue. I also had trainings on scuba. Actually, I can hold my lungs for 8 minutes. By the way, I'm also a swimmer. I'm
Eight
also a swimmer.
minutes.
I swim for I swim for 3 kilometers a week to be healthy. Um, what is important at first place is that for you not to panic, and then try to know your boundaries, your borders, and other people around you, and then you decide. It was a raging river, maybe water of 40 to 50 kilometers per hour. It is a flash flood in a dry river bed with a raging water of up to 15 feet. So, with the help of other guides, I tried my best to save them all. But I'm just human. What's important is that I did my best. To the last drop of my blood, to the last drip of my sweat, to the last air that I breathe, I tried my best to save everyone.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you for sharing. Say something about Philippine ecotourism.
You know, when God created the world, He was so amazed. He created 7,641 islands more. And mabuhay. This is the Philippines, our archipelago, the land of endless fun and more fun And what's more important is that we are practicing very responsible ecotourism. As I've said before, we have 32 ecotourism sites. Not only that, you have mangroves there, we also have mangroves here, but not that big, just small. I'm a promoter of mangrove because it
Okay.
helps a community against
Yes.
me, tsunami. Yeah.
Well,
In the
then
sea,
it's
the mangrove is called the tree of life, not the coconut,
yeah,
but the mangrove.
yeah.
Because when a mangrove shields a tsunami, the impact will decrease by 30%. But coconut is just one single trunk. Only 1% will be the shield percentage. And not
Oh,
and not only that, mangroves are home for fishes. And 30% of carbon are being absorbed by the mangrove and in turn gives oxygen to Mother Nature. It's very important because it helps in life and it decreases pollution.
okay. Then tsunami. Then we have opportunity to exchange our mangrove sites. You promoting for Sundarban, we promoting from Bangladesh, Philippines, eco mangrove tourism. What is the view for that?
Uh, for promoting mangrove tourism,
Yes,
uh,
promoting Bangladesh
a
and Philippines,
mangrove
the
site is
friendship
called.
exchange.
Well, last December 1, we had Bakawan. Bakawan is the native name or the Tagalog name for mangrove, Bakawan. We have Rhizophora varieties here. Rhizophora apiculata, mocronata, and bruguita. And also stone mangrove here in the Philippines. When we were planting, with the community, we only planted 300. And then I said, what if we plant and bid to the Guinness Book of World Records? We must plant 1,000 mangroves. Okay, let's research. When we research, oh my God, we will not beat the current holder. Why? Because it says there, they planted 800,000 mangroves in one day.
Oh my,
we don't we don't have any propagules. Maybe let's look into the maybe when is International Mangrove Day? If there is an International Mangrove Day, you plant there, we plant here, and we make what do you call that? A cooperation, Mangrove Cooperation Day. Bangladesh and Philippines, they plant one mangrove today, one mangrove a day, one mangrove every day. A mangrove is to one oxygen, and an oxygen is for mankind. Yeah, we can do that. Uh,
yes,
I can ask for our local tourism if we can do that, but only after the our general community quarantine days. Because we are not allowed to do huge gatherings as this. Maybe after this pandemic area, we
yes,
can
yes,
do
yes,
this
yes,
and we could work in tandem, in cooperation, and it can be an international event. It
yeah,
can be an
yes, yes,
international event. That way, you can also promote the community guides of your mangrove area. Because
yeah,
for every mangrove, you are already saying a story. You know,
yes,
what another Another program is that you can adopt a mangrove. You could have one agency or one community adopt one mangrove and name that mangrove after them. If in case I go there, I plant a mangrove. Oh, this is the Tsunami mangrove. And then when you go there, tourist comes. Oh, on your left is the Tsunami mangrove. Tsunami planted it there. Just
Yeah.
like Pope John, just like Pope John Paul II when he went to the Holy Land, he planted an olive tree and he have that mangrove named after them. If Alusha Ritchie would go to Bangladesh and she plants a mangrove, oh, that's the World Federation tree. So when
Yeah.
Maricar Donato went to the Philippines in December 1, I invited her. She planted a mangrove for the World Federation. So here in our province, there is a World Federation mangrove tree. And when we planted
Wow.
it in December, today the tree is already around 6 feet tall. It's a mangrove, and it is in our protected area. You can do that too.
Yes, 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 definitely I can do. In future, after the COVID pandemic is shutting down, then definitely we can do. And how many volcano are there in Philippines? We already know. Which is the world famous volcano in Philippines?
Philippines, the Philippines, we have so many volcanoes, and we have 10 active volcanoes so far, the most active ones. Others are dormant. There are three kinds of volcano. First, the active, which includes Taal. Second is the dormant. Third is the extinct, or a mountain or a volcano that have never erupted before. And since the Philippines is included in the Pacific Belt of Fire, or the Pacific Rim of Fire, we have so many volcanoes. Just like Japan, the Philippines also experiences earthquakes every minute. But only small earthquakes like intensity 1, intensity 2, something like that. And a few days ago, we had intensity 5.1. The most famous volcano in our country is not actually Taal volcano, but it is Mayon volcano, the volcano with the perfect cone. But the volcano most visited by tourists is the eco site, or the National Tourism Eco Site, Taal Volcano. It is
Tal.
Taal. You know Taal? It is a submarine volcano. It is a caldera type volcano. Caldera type. It's a cauldron. Unlike Mayon volcano, which is high, it is strato volcano. Uh, Taal volcano is most frequently visited by foreigners, Koreans, Japanese, Indians.
Why not Bangladeshi?
Um,
Why not you
I have not yet
invited Bangladesh?
I have not yet encountered Bangladesh guests before, but Taal volcano is outside my area because I am from Region 3, and Taal volcano is in Region 4A, or Calabarzon. But sometimes tourists here in Region 3, they go there. I escort them every time they want to visit volcano. It is a very fine example of responsible ecotourism, as the local community is earning there. They cook food, they cook lunch for the guests, they operate the bangka, they had horse rental. If you would want to go to the crater, you can walk for an hour. But if you don't want to get tired, you can ride a horse. And if you ride a horse, you pay a rental. And you pay a rental, the horse owner earns. But what if you don't know how to ride a horse? You can get a guide. So it's a package deal. The horse earns, the horse owner earns, the horse guide earns. Everyone earns, and sometimes they get very good tips. You know, Taal volcano just erupted like last January 12. Uh, it's the second most active volcano in the Philippines. Then we have another one. It is the world's most beautiful disaster, and it's located here in our place. It's Mount Pinatubo. It is the most destructive, largest explosion, highest volume of lahar ever spewed in this century, which is Mount Pinatubo. Actually, it's second. First is Mount Krakatoa, and there's also Mount Tambora in Indonesia. But it was so destructive when it exploded. Uh, the entire U.S. Air Force in Clark evacuated. And Clark in the Philippines is one of the largest Air Force field in Asia. Now they transferred to Okinawa, Japan, I think.
Oh, okay. Now, then, which tourist destination in the Philippines would you like to invite as a tourist guide?
Um, I always say this in our province. If you would want to go to our province, visit the tour guide, because in our province, the tourist guide is the tourist spot. Because without the tourist guide, you will go nowhere. So visit the tour guide, get the tour guide, and you will see all different beautiful spots in the world, in the Philippines. Our number one destinations here are the UNESCO sites. There are so many UNESCO sites here in the Philippines, like Paway Church in Ilocos Norte, which is famous for its limestone. It's a limestone church. We also have the Cobblestone Church, which is the Santa Maria Church, also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. We also have the Heritage Village of Vigan, which is uh, it's like traveling to the past. It's like traveling back in the 18th century where it is still being preserved. It is also considered as one of the new seven wonder cities of the world. Uh, in our region, we have Mount Pinatubo, in which you will experience how to be buried alive, because the tour guide will bury you alive. Yes, that's true. The tour guide will bury you alive because we have a tourist spot there. It's a hot springs wherein tourists will be buried alive under lahar. So it's a wellness tourism destination. So you will get a spa. So if you want massage, spa, sauna, if you want to lose weight, you go there. We will bury you in lahar, and then after that, we will put you with mud,
Mud.
volcano, yeah, volcano mud.
Oh my
So
God.
you will experience how to become a chocolate man, because when you put volcanic mud in your face, it will exfoliate. It will exfoliate, and
Oh.
then you will feel so young, and then it's like you are being botoxed. It's like you are being botoxed naturally, and that is only mud. Instead of getting a botox shot worth thousands and thousands of pesos, here you will only get mud in your face, and then when you go home, you will look beautiful.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we want to know something. The name of the popular author of in the Philippines.
Popular
author.
author of
Yeah,
popular author of
author who write a documentary or books.
oh um for domestic tourism Philippines, actually he's also one of our professors here and a famous guide. He's already old, but he's still guiding. He's
Oh,
Chinese. He is Sir Paul Lim So. He has a book called Philippine Destinations, in which all the destinations of the Philippines are in there, with backgrounds, with etymological meaning, when to go, what stores to visit, and then our mentor, Sir Bienvenido Caraval. Uh, he also has a book that promotes tourism. There is also a book on ecotourism by our professor, Mr. Caloy Libosada. If in case we meet in the future, I'll give you one book.
thank
Wait,
you, sir.
wait,
Thank you.
wait.
Thank you.
I'll show you the book. I have it here. Here, Philippine tourist destinations
Yes, ladies and
by
gentlemen,
Paul So.
please show the Mr. Tsunami, please show the books.
With
Yeah, Paul
autograph.
Shaw. Yeah, great. Philippine Tourist Destination book by Paul Shaw, huh? Yes, Paul Shaw. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, sir. In Philippines, there is any movie, popular movie, cinema.
Popular movie?
Yeah.
We have a lot of popular movies here. It depends on the destination. There are also love stories about promoting destinations. But the Philippines became a shooting location for
Yes. Shooting location.
yeah, shooting
Oh,
location for Hollywood. Born Identity was with Jeremy Renner, happened here in the Philippines, and
oh
then
my
we
God.
have uh, Born on the 4th of July with Tom Cruise. It's in the
Tom Cruise.
Philippines. Yeah. We
Oh,
also have
that
a we
shooting.
also have we also have a desert here. Uh, and then there is the early movie in the 80s, Mad Max, by with Mel Gibson.
Oh,
And
very.
no, this is the most famous one just recently. Maybe it's just 1 minute in the movies, but it is very famous. Did you watch the movie The Avengers?
No,
Did, oh, you should watch it. The Avengers. The Avengers.
Avenger.
The Avengers. I think it's the Avengers. Infinity War.
Oh,
No, Endgame. 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 It
Endgame.
is that
Endgame.
point when that is when point when Thanos defeated everyone. When he made that click, 50% of the population died. After
Oh my
that,
God.
Thanos went to the Philippines. He had a rest house. It's just a hut. A hut is called kubo. It's just a hut. Thanos went there and stayed, and then you can see the view of the Banawe rice terraces. Banawe rice
Oh,
terraces in the Philippines. This
okay.
is the
Then
Banawe rice terraces.
this
This
is.
one. Yeah, the rice
Oh,
terraces. They
okay.
say it is called the stairway to heaven because when
Oh,
all the terraces, when joined together, according to myth, it will reach the heaven.
Oh,
And it is also known as the eighth wonder of the world.
eight wonder.
Yeah. Then we also have this one,
Oh,
chocolate, chocolate hills.
chocolate hills.
That's oh, if it's raining, it's called green hills because there are
Oh,
grasses. But during dry
yes.
season, it becomes brown. So it becomes
Oh.
chocolate hills.
Thank you, sir. Sir, Tsunami, please tell the popular poet's name, writer's name, singer or heroine, if there.
The
We are
popular
very
name
close.
of the writer?
Yeah, writer, poet, singer, or actors.
Oh, popular singer. Do you know Apple the App? Apple the App is a Filipino. And you know
Oh,
the destination where I told you, the one
yes.
where people will be buried alive. That is where Apple the App lives. It is in Pampanga. Apple the App. Uh, you know Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars is also a Filipino. He has
Oh,
a Filipino mother. We have international singers here like Regine Velasquez, Lani Misalucha. They are known as Asia's songbird. And
songbird.
recently, at the what's that? Casey Tandingan, very popular singer. And then singer, actor. Oh my God, we have so many actors and actresses. We have international actors too. And then there are some uh, foreign actors and actresses who goes to the Philippines. They become naturalized here because they married Filipino citizens too.
Okay.
Right now, we only have two channels because it's pandemic.
Sir, our last question. And after that, we say goodbye. That is, you are world representative of World Tour Federation of Tour Guide Association. Tell us about your responsibilities.
Well, I became area representative of the World Federation just like last January. I replaced someone. Since I'm just new, I'm just on my first month. We have only 22 countries in the list that are members to the World Federation. And one of this country is Bangladesh. And then
Yeah.
I also have Brunei. We have ASEAN. ASEAN has 10 countries. Philippines, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Brunei, Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, Timor Leste, and then we have Myanmar, Bangladesh, also have Bhutan. China is also under China. And then I have South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, and the last country under my area is Bangladesh and Bhutan. And then there's another one. I just saw it. Oh my God! How can I connect here? You know, Maldives. Maldives is also
Yes.
under me.
Oh,
Maldives.
great.
My duty is to connect with these countries, look for tour guides, look for tour guide associations, and we invite them to the federation. Because some countries like you, they are not they are not
Tsunami, Tsunami, Mr. Tsunami, Mr. Tsunami, Mr. Tsunami, Mr. Tsunami.
2021 World Convention in Novi Sad in Serbia. So if you have time, please come visit the convention. I attended my first convention last 2019 in Tbilisi in Georgia. And if if it will push through, because there's no announcement yet because of the pandemic situation, if it push through or maybe postponed on a different month, I'm hoping to see you there, because when you attend the convention, they have trainings. You have trainings
Yes.
every hour. You just choose which training you would want to go. And since you paid for the convention fee, those trainings are free. I attended 3 seminars last January, and it was very difficult. You know why? Because first, it was different rooms, and the hotel is very big. So I
Oh,
keep on running from room to room. But it's a
oh.
very, very good experience.
Yes, 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 yes. Then we almost talk with you 1 hour. Now our
Oh,
yes, the last we want to say. UNESCO awarded mangrove Sundarban is located in Bangladesh. How can we help each other in developing tourism in both countries? Any possibilities? And say something for trained and untrained tourist guide. Few words for our industry.
maybe my best advice is that the key word is education. You must educate the guides first, or you must educate people first before you tell them what to do.
So
That's the first advice I could share with you. Proper education. It's important for you to start right. If there are wrongs that have been done, you correct it. If you have mistakes, admit it. Because if you admit it, and that's the time for you to correct it, you become stronger people. And you have a very big potential. One mangrove tree can tell you a story that will span the globe. And you are already a UNESCO site. You are also listed on the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands.
yes,
Let's rise up, Bangladesh.
Thank you, Tsunami. You are a good friend of mine. You give me a lot of time I want your cooperation in future. I want to continue uh, this program in cooperation, in help, in favor. Just we are hunting some tourist guide. We share. We want to invite them our program and hear their story experience, and it's different countries like it's from South Africa, like it's China, like Indonesia, like Thailand, like Bhutan. No problem where it is. We need professional to hear their experience. And thank you, thank you, and hope your cooperation is continue for developing our community, tourism, tourist guide, professional tourist guide, with developing much better in future. Thank you, sir, coming as our studio. Ladies and gentlemen, for now, we say goodbye, but our next episode, we come with African Eden, Miss Jilan Blackbird, our guest. Was this and very important program? You can saw very first time in Bangladesh. Thank you, sir. For now, goodbye.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for having me. And as we say in the Philippines, mabuhay.
Thank you.
Thank you.